Alright, am I live? I think I'm live. What is up, gamers? It is me, the Yogurt3433 here with some great YouTube content coming right at you live from, definitely not my mother's basement.
Can I
Today,
interest you in something?
I have a fun little experiment I wanted to do. So, basically, what I wanted to do is
Looking to
I
make a
wanted to
purchase?
test out Fable: The Lost Chapters in Xemu, I think it's
What can
called.
I do you for?
Try to get your combat
You
multiplier
guys
even
are
higher.
fucking talking. Just calm down. Anyways, the reason why I wanted to test this game in particular
There's an
is
important
because,
quest card the guild
for
for you.
some reason, the Fable games are broken in emulators. Like Fable 2 just recently became playable in Xenia. Well, it was playable before, but it had some weird rendering issues and whatnot. That was recently got fixed, and I believe the update that made Fable Lost Chapters playable also recently came out. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I kind of wanted to visit this game because this game kind of was my childhood. I played this game a lot. Not the Lost Chapters specifically, but I played the original on the original Xbox so much that I actually burnt through like two controllers because I was a kid, and you know how kids are with controllers, man. Anyways, so what we're going to do in this live stream is I'm going to go ahead and be playing through the game, hopefully provide some interesting commentary,
Try to get your
and
combat multiplier even higher.
thanks. Uh, and we're just gonna chill out, and I'm gonna see how this game performs in Xemu, see if there's any issues, or see if it's a solid experience. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking already. Just why don't you play the PC version? Well, the reason why I'm not playing the PC version is because the PC version was released in an era where these games having controller support was practically unheard of. So a lot of these games that released during this era, despite the fact that there are perfectly fine
Remember,
PC versions,
following the gold markers on your map will lead you to your quest objective.
unless there is
attacking the
a
picnic area.
mod
Follow me!
that basically is able to add that controller support to where it feels natural, I prefer to just emulate the game, especially if I'm playing on hardware that's capable of emulating it. Now, I know some people might be curious about
Follow
the
me!
setup I have going.
Oh,
So
warrior,
I have
what do you do?
a
Choke your enemies to death with your stench?
oh my god, I have a GTX 1070. I have a
Hey,
Intel
over
Core
here!
i5 12400, and I got 16 gigs of RAM.
Hey,
I believe
over,
it's
this
clocked
way.
at 32
Please,
megahertz.
You've got to save my friends.
So it's
Try to get your combat
it's
multiplier.
nothing special. Let's see. Let's do this fucking quest real quick. Yeah. So yeah,
Thanks for
this
saving me.
game
I'm gonna tell
was
everyone about you.
it was something I grew up with. A fun fact. Also, just telling you guys ahead of time. No, ahead of time. This this stream isn't gonna be safe from Fable spoilers. So if you haven't played Fable yet, uh, get on that. I actually really like this game. The Salt Factory actually did a wonderful video on this game. Well, more so specifically the Anniversary Edition, which is which is a solid version of the game.
More was successful, but they are no match for your weapon.
Anyways, so
You're making good progress learning combat multipliers.
oh, that I always still remember the Lost Big fucking harder. Anyways, what I was essentially saying was the reason why I emulate these games instead of just playing the PC version is based on controller support, because I do the mortal sin of PC gaming, which is prefer a controller over keyboard and mouse. I think that the YouTuber, if you haven't checked him out yet, I highly recommend you check him out. His name is Narrow, but I think he phrased it the best when he made his video on motion controls. There is something to be said about a dedicated device that's ergonomic and meant to play video games. Also doesn't help that my wrists get sore whenever I use a keyboard. So there's that too. So it's just way more comfortable for me to play with a controller. Not to mention with various PCs on the market, like the Steam Deck, which I do have one of those, by the way, in case you guys want to see future content about that.
But there's still dangerous wasps
Maze
about.
is looking for you. He waits for you in the Barstone Tavern.
But yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to test this version, and from what I can tell, aside from like the very, very inconsistent frame rate, it runs alright. I keep forgetting that in this version of the game you have to push the B button, or the circle button in my case, because I'm using a DualSense. I know, sacrilegious, I know. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what the hell Maze wants.
Oi! You're new here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Please obey the law.
I don't want to obey the law. Fuck your law.
Been enjoying all the attention, have you?
Alright. This is all stuff. This isn't a blind playthrough. I'm just trying to see how this game performs. There we go.
Check the
So,
guild for more quests.
what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to go ahead and
What's going on there?
go towards Oakvale. Mostly so I can already have those cola skates activated and so I can get myself some more XP. But yeah, some of the things I wanted to talk about. One is the Fable reboot, because it's one of the Xbox games I'm actually excited for, assuming that, it actually comes out, because the thing that sucks about a lot of Xbox managed shit, and I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of, I hope I don't get a lot of flack for this, is Xbox isn't exactly the best at managing their studios. I don't know what goes on, but why? Okay, look, I get it. Game development takes time, but Fable, the new game, has been in development, I believe, since 2018, and we haven't seen any gameplay of it. We haven't seen any. We've seen that CGI trailer, but the issue with that CGI trailer is it didn't feel like Fable. It felt like if they tried to... What's the best way to put this? It felt like, say, like I was trying to make a Shrek video game without it being, Shrek. Like, if you were to announce, like, a Shrek game with that intro, I would 100% believe that that was a Shrek game. I am telling you. Like, the way they revealed the freaking Fable reboot didn't scream Fable to me. Like, if you look at the CG trailers and stuff like that for the CG cutscenes, not trailers, for Fable, 2 and Fable 3. Fable definitely has a very distinct style that I feel like was absent from the reboot, so I'm kind of worried that it won't be a good... No, not... Because Playground Grant Games is a very talented studio. I'm not really much into racing games, so I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't really care about Forza Horizon. I mean, it's pretty fun from what I played, but I also don't really care to, play Forza, or any car game for that matter. Especially car games that cost fucking $70 like Gran Turismo. But let's see, Fisher Creek is this way. Actually, I think there is loot over here. Yeah, so I'm kind of concerned that the reboot is going to end up not feeling like a Fable game when it releases. And which, if it doesn't, that's really gonna suck, because even the worst Fable game, not counting Fable the Journey because I haven't played that one and I don't plan on playing that one, even the worst Fable game I feel like has its own distinct charm. I even liked Fable 3, which is a very controversial thing to say, I guess. I mean, I liked it more than other people did. I do have my own complaints with it, though, like how fucking long the load times were. But aside from that, I mean, it was a fine game. While I have faith that Playground Games is hopefully going to make at least a solid game, I'm not sure if it's going to be a good Fable game, if that makes sense. Because these games have a very distinct DNA baked into them. Now, a DNA that I feel like was strongest in the first game and in the second game. I also hope that they hire better writers in these 3 games. Because I never really even noticed it until the Salt Factory pointed it out. Which, if you haven't watched the Salt Factory's videos on Fable games, I would highly recommend it. They're very long watches, but if you say just put those videos on when you're like doing work or something like that, have it play in the background. In my opinion, oh my god, okay. You guys tell me usually the anniversary controls. But yeah, so the thing about Fable and the reboot is, while like I said before, well, I don't think Playground Games are gonna. Oh, sorry, my guy.
Get away, you monster! Yeah, glad to get shot of it. That's impressive. Hey!
Hang on. But yeah, well, do I think the Fable reboot's doomed? No, I just hope that once this first Fable reboot game, if it's good,
He didn't last long.
I hope that because they're trying to figure everything out this time around, the next time it'll be shorter. It's kind of like how I believe the development period for Persona 6 isn't going to be nearly as long with Persona 5. Because what people don't realize with Persona 5 is the fact that Atlas, as far as I know, if I'm wrong, someone can correct me in the chat, in the comments. But as far as I know, I believe that Persona 5's engine was developed at the same time as Persona 5 was. And if there's several examples of games in history that show you just shouldn't fucking do that. I don't know what SMT5's excuse was, though. I guess the developers had to learn Unreal Engine 4. But even then, that's kind of a weak excuse for... it probably was just fucking announced too early. What am I saying? It was probably announced when it just started, like, the planning phase. And we didn't... just find it funny. It was announced in, like, what, 2017, and we didn't hear about it for, what, 3 years? But, and then there's Metroid Prime 4, which fucking knows what's going on with that game at this point.
Yeah, well, he's gone. Simple. He's always having problems at work.
But yeah, so that's the thing with the Fable games, in my opinion. I really enjoy the Fable games. Like I was saying before, I don't think Persona 6 is going to take as long as as Persona 5. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Persona 6, assuming they're going to be reusing the engine and certain assets from Persona 5, which they did with Persona 4, the 3. I would be surprised if we saw Persona 6 by the end of 2023. Maybe early 2024 for Japan, because you know how Atlas is about the West.
Some bandits have set up a toll in this region. Be careful.
So the thing about
Hope
that
we
is,
got the gold they want. These bandits will kill us for fun.
I'll be fine. I've cleared this.
I'm afraid this path is private. It'll cost you to get through. Or we can always use your head as an ornament. Either way suits us. So, and
Nope.
the shinies over. I'm way
Yeah, I'll
past.
hand you over a shiny. Ah, fuck. You hit, don't you? Too bad you don't hit hard enough.
Brace yourself for the pain.
Anyways, so why is it with heart?
Your health is critical.
Your health is critical.
I'd stay down if I were you.
I like to do this area like pretty early in the game because of the fact that you get a lot of XP. Not a lot of XP, I don't know. I've always just fucking cleared this area. What am I talking about? I don't know the mechanics. I just find Fable like a really fun game to just sort of relax to. Like, this is my comfort game. That and Persona 5. I am a huge Persona 5 fan, which will be an absolute shock to no one if you know me at all. But and once Persona 5 Royal comes out, I might do a live stream of the PC version. I'm not sure. I am for sure going to get it on Switch because I was one of those people who was very vocal about the game coming to more platforms. So you're damn right, I'm going to fucking buy the Switch version because if you ask me, I'm one of those people, one of those freaks who thinks that platform exclusivity, especially on third-party games, is kind of really fucking stupid. Believe it or not, I really don't want to have to buy a $400 box just to fucking play a single video game, and I don't think anybody else should have to either. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand why exclusives exist, and I kind of just accept the fact that they exist. It's not something I like, but it's also not something that, you know, I'm going to be out in the street protesting. Like, obviously, Sony wants to sell their console. Rather than fucking actually push innovating the hardware more, what they're going to do is they're just going to fucking buy exclusivity rights to keep games off of other platforms. It's just the nature of the beast. Now, fortunately, with a lot of the deals that Sony does, especially for games in smaller studios, they make it to where the game still comes to PC, which, considering the fact that I mostly game on PC, that really doesn't affect me. But it still sucks the fact that if you were to buy an Xbox, won't have access to those other games like Kenna and the Bridge Spirits. Oh, sorry.
Well, I suppose you have to pay him something.
Looks fine.
So you're the chicken chaser.
But the thing about this game, I get sidetracked.
There's an important
This
quest
is
card, Guild
very difficult for my ADHD because I'm trying to play the game and make an interesting stream. Because I don't think anybody just wants to see somebody do a stream and just sit there like... At least I don't. When I watch someone streaming personally, I like to like... Personally, I don't watch a lot of live streams outside of just filling in background noise. So I'm trying to, I'm trying to have a stream that I would personally watch.
I never open on a first date. I can only let someone who really loved me through.
This game has so many cool ideas. It just really sucks that, well, even though... Bam. 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 Oh, you hurt. Alright, so once I get to Darkwood entrance, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go back to the guild. I'm going to go ahead and level up my character because I want to get Assassin's Rush.
In Darkwood, you will find the Chapel of Scorn. Please the deities there, and they will let you
Into your soul. Heroes Guild. I mean, realistically speaking, so far this game has actually performed pretty well, given the
Now,
circumstances.
this one looks promising. Oh, hello. You must be the Kid Maze.
Yeah. I'll be a protection boy. But yeah, one of the things I wish Microsoft would do for the build-up of the Fable, the Fable reboot
Chosen will.
was
You could be a
I know
powerful
they've
magic
already
user.
remade
You
this
can
game
use
Fable
your
Anniversary.
experience from magic combat to learn new spells and improve those you'll now choose the spell you wish to learn. Notice your experience
What I
pools
would
going
love
down. You will always use your
is
will experience first.
for this game to basically get remade with a shit ton of new content. The issue with Fable Anniversary, in my opinion, is Fable Anniversary was a pretty faithful remake to this game. It didn't add a bunch of stuff, unless you're counting the DLC, which, as far as I know, DLC didn't add anything substantial. It was a lot of like horse armor tier shit. But like, man, I might be wrong though. I didn't really dabble in the Fable the last Anniversary DLC. But if they could like remake this game like from the ground up in like Unreal Engine 5, where they have so many. Can I not do a recall? What? Oh, I guess not. No, well, I'll just go to Coal Escape. Greatwood. Anyways, but like a remake of this game with a lot more content. Like, just a shit ton more content. Bring over features from like Fable 2 and Fable 3. And I feel like it would be a really, really cool way to get people hyped for the new Fable game. Either that, or it's going to set unrealistic expectations because of the tonal shift that Playground might be taking. Which, if I hope they don't really get too. I'm not creative is the word, but I hope they don't. They stick. They stay faithful to what makes a Fable game special.
Compliments of the deities.
Because there, in my opinion, there is definitely DNA in Fable that really separates it from other Western RPGs, in my opinion. And it would really suck just to see that all get thrown away and it turn into another, oh my gosh, you're in a fantasy world type of game. Because I feel like that Fable is, maybe then, I grew up with this game, so I have to remember that as well. But if they did that, it'd make me feel like that Fable, like, why would I want to play Fable as opposed to a fantasy game that actually, like, put effort into creating its own identity? Like, I could be playing The Witcher 3 or something like that. And another thing, I think that I also... would you consider this game open world? I guess not. Maybe semi-open world. I like how this game is structured.
you have any potions?
Shoot, you guys hurt.
You trying to give me a heart attack or something?
Alright.
Yeah. Well, he's gone.
But yeah. So that's
What a display of power. Yeah.
There we go. Also, fun fact, as a kid, Darkwood used to scare the shit out of me. I used to hate this area, as well as the fucking quest where you had to escort the traders. Like, oh my god. Anyways, it's been about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this.
Chicken chaser, I
It is a
believe.
small stream, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I'm starting to get tired, and
Chicken chaser.
I had a
You
lot of
chase
fun doing
chickens?
this. I wouldn't be opposed to doing this again in the future.
Like the look of this chap.
And I think this kind of gives people a general idea of how the emulator will perform in Xemu. Now, I do want to do a bit more playing it by myself, make sure it's playable from beginning to end, which I don't know why it wouldn't be. Oh, anyways, be sure to like and subscribe if you wish. If you don't, that's fine. No hard feelings. Anyways, I will hopefully stream again soon.